This must be the suspect.
Oh, he looks like he really needs a hug.
And a lawyer.
Well, I'm Tessa Smith with Screen Rant, and I am here with the Elsbeth cast and creatives. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hello.
All right. If you want to just say your name and how, either your character or, showrunner, et cetera, et cetera.
My name is Wendell Pierce, and I play Captain C.W. Wagner.
I'm Carrie Preston, and I play Elsbeth.
I'm John Tollins. I'm the showrunner.
Robert King, executive producer.
And Michelle King, also executive producer.
Amazing. Well, first of all, congratulations on another season. Very exciting. But I have to know we have the good wife. We have the good fight. This is just Elsbeth. Was there ever any conversation that this title would have good in it?
No, because Carrie Preston, you have to name it after her. You can't just say, what, the good Elsbeth? Oh, it could be insane.
Well, you guys film in New York City. So can you talk about what that's like? Maybe a favorite memory from filming here?
I mean, it's such a great thing for Robert and Michelle and John to be doing this show. That they worked on the whole Good universe that was set in Chicago, but we shot in New York, so they couldn't really show New York. And now that we're doing this, they deliberately set it here so they can really highlight the city. And one of my favorite memories was riding on the tour bus when we were shooting the pilot, and it was our last day of shooting. And I've never been on a tour bus. I've lived here for over 30 years, and so sitting on a double-decker tour bus, I'm like, oh, I understand why the tourists want to do this. It's a pretty awesome way to see the city, and then also to be shooting this pilot for a show that I didn't know if it was going to get picked up or not. And so it was just one of those moments where I looked around and I just felt so blessed,
We look for fun New York settings for everything. One of my favorites is that it was actually, I think, the director and the location people said, there's this Alice in Wonderland statue in Central Park, and we managed to get the rights to film there. And it was just this perfect symbol of Elsbeth in New York. And we wrote the line where she says, I never understood why Alice in Wonderland is considered weird. But we're always looking for those opportunities. The only challenge we have is we have to convince people to let us film there, and then we tell them it's about a murder.
Exactly. Anyone else?
I loved the final moment in the pilot. We at Lincoln Center at the fountain in the center, and we both went to Juilliard, and so it was like a homecoming. So that was like an iconic moment as the burst of the waters go up, and Carrie and I were standing there, right where we went to school. And it was a full circle moment, so that was really cool.
Yeah, that was truly a wonderful moment for me too.
Amazing. So in season 2, what were you most excited to get to explore? Maybe evolution in, I know your relationship, now she was there to investigate you. So what were you most excited to explore this season?
Well, she's still a thorn in my side, because, which is great. That keeps the continuum going. And I'm having this interesting journey of self-discovery of am I as good as I think I am? And how am I as a leader amongst my men and all? And at the same time, she, once again, shows me up because she's a lot smarter than almost everyone in the precinct. So I love that evolution and journey of our relationship. We still have stuff to work on, and I still admire her more and more and more.
Yeah, it's fun because one of the themes that John has been working on this season is you can't escape your past. And so things from each of the 3 main characters' past are coming up. And, it's always great to have a show where everyone gets along, but it's more interesting to have a show where there's some conflict and there's some stuff coming in that, that you can play against. And of course, we got rid of Noonan, but there's a new lieutenant who comes in and is questioning Elsbeth's presence.
And
so
my chops.
yes. So it's fun to have those challenges.
I also think there's different feeling in that when you're working on the first season, and especially ours was a truncated first season because of the writer's strike, you always have this thing hanging over you. Are you going to get to a second season? Is the show going to be established enough that it could continue? And now it's sort of, we all feel it's a little bit more lived in. We're living in this world and exploring it, and Elsbeth feels more established here. And there's a kind of breathing room that we're really loving. Yeah.
And for you two, what were you most excited to dive into this season?
Well, I think the triumph of season 2 is that John and the writers have found ways to explode the procedural, to make it different every time while still being comfortable.
Yeah. Now, Elsbeth obviously is so good at solving them almost instantly, right? And it wrapped all up in one episode. But was there ever any conversation that maybe she would struggle here and there?
There will be struggles. We actually have an episode coming up where the murder is not solved. I won't say which one. We've also been doing a lot of playing with the form. Last year in the finale, it was the first time where the audience didn't know who did it. And this year we're finding all these different variations. Like sometimes you may see who did it, but you don't know why, or sometimes you get the wrong information. And so we don't want anyone to feel like you've seen one, you've seen them all. We always want to, we try to surprise ourselves so the audience will be surprised.
Awesome. And we're here at Comic-Con, so lots of fans around for all sorts of things. So do either of you have like maybe a memorable fan interaction from over the years?
Oh, wow.
I've gone to some Comic-Cons over the years, and there were lots of Comic-Cons when I was on True Blood. And so I always liked to go to those because I would see several Arlenes, which was my character, walking around. So I would always try to take photos with the fans, which always made them even more, they were shocked that I wanted to take a photo with them. It was like a little reverse. So I always, that's the utmost compliment, when somebody wants to dress up as your character.
I'm looking out here for tote bags.
I know. I said, if I see any Elsbeths, I will be asking them for a photo.
I have a tendency to play a lot of law enforcement, and so I guess my most interesting fan encounter was with Jack Ryan, where I play a CIA officer, and in the airport, someone saddling up to me and said, smooth is slow, slow is fast, tip of the spear. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know. Yeah, but the one interesting was this one guy in the airport, he was in front of me going down an escalator, and he keeps looking back, and you kind of know when a fan is recognizing you. And so I get down to security, and I'm going through security, and I hear, hey man, I really like you, behind me, and I turn around and it's the same guy. And he goes, hey, I just retired, I just left the CIA. I was like, well, yeah. I said, did you just front and follow me? He says, good work, good. And I was like, he had literally done this thing called front and follow. He was in front of me, and then he, some kind of way, surreptitiously got behind me. And it was great.
I love that. That's fantastic. And then before we wrap, I want to ask you two, Evil has kind of really found its audience here. People are loving it. So how has it felt?
It's fantastic. I love the fact that even more people are enjoying the show now that it's gotten on Netflix.
And disappointed because they found it too late. Why can't we back up history about a year? Because a lot of the fans that came are probably a little too late to save the show from continuing. Although, never say never. Who knows?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is there any chance that maybe it will continue?
I just think it's streaming world mixed with old traditional world has created some very odd bedfellows and children. So anything could come out of this.
Amazing. Thank you guys all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we really should hug.
All right, make it quick.
Okay.
Back to work.
Aye, aye, Captain Charles Wallace Wagner.